Welcome back to part 3 of Secret of Evermore, and on this one I'm going to actually let this whole kind of intro montage play out because it's a good one. It's not as good as Chrono Trigger's, but it's good. Shows some interesting scenes from the game with some pretty great music, so I'm just going to shut up for a second and let that play out. My god, the music in this game, I'm telling you. The music absolutely makes the game. I mean, the game itself is okay. It's not bad. But I'm telling you, this soundtrack, it is something else. So we're picking up right where we left off. And I'm heading to the volcano. Gotta fight Magmar. And continue on to Antiqua. So that's the goal for today. We just got the mud pepper from Salabog. Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure I forgot to get the levitate spell, so that's where we're going now. I'm gonna go get levitate. And that means crossing the swamp again. One of the weak points of this game, definitely the dungeon design. The dungeons in this game leave a lot to be desired. They tend to just be mazes, kind of tediously designed mazes with just a lot of dead ends, a lot of false turns, just confusing places. So as you can see, I'm doing a lot of short dashing, just like tapping the dash button rapidly. That lets you kind of zip around without running out of stamina. So if you do like a full dash, use up all your stamina, you have to wait a second before you can do it again. But a lot of short dashes don't really have as much of a problem. Plus you can adjust your trajectory. Blah, that was hard to say. You can adjust your trajectory on the fly as you go. Yeah, I still gotta level up that heal formula some more. It'll happen though. It'll happen very naturally as I progress because I'm gonna need to use it a lot. Wait, is that? Yeah, I think this is the exit over here. Yep, there it is. Nice. Now, I don't recommend wasting too much time dealing with these raptors. They're not really worth it. Just zip on by, go about your business. So at this point, I've got to make my way north to the volcano. And I have to go inside the volcano, but before I can do that, I have to go up to the top and actually get the aforementioned levitate formula. I think you're generally supposed to get it before Salabog, but unfortunately it's too late for me. Oh, he's got something. What is it? Well, unfortunately, I don't have time to investigate because I'm busy fending off these raptors. And heal is now level 2. Excellent. Very good. I think I need to just get the hell out of this place. This is like a death trap. We're taking all kinds of damage here. I like those little mushroom cloud things when you jump up these platforms. They're like little geyser spouts that fire you up into the air. They look really dangerous though. Like it looks like your hero should be getting at least 3rd-degree burns from those. But it's a cool effect in any case. I like it. Huh. Okay, clearly I'm going the wrong way. Let's try this again. Yeah. I have to say, you know, there are definitely times, as much as I like this game, there are definitely times when it can be a little on the tedious side. You know, I mentioned the dungeons being complete mazes a lot of the time. Some of the dungeons in this game, I'm actually dreading having to play again because they're so tedious. But this time around, I'm going to bring a walkthrough to speed things up, kind of expedite the process a little bit. But not just the dungeons. I mean, there are times when you're just trying to get from place to place where you have to deal with some kind of tedious game mechanics, like what we just saw. Ugh. I don't even want to know what this guy is cooking up in that pot. Yeah, I've got all kinds of peppers here. I've got a bunch of habanero peppers and ghost peppers actually frozen in my freezer. The habaneros I grew myself, the ghost peppers I found in a store. They're very hard to find. But yeah, big fan of the peppers over here. Another thing about peppers, they'll stay good for a long time if you freeze them. Like you can grow a whole bunch of habanero peppers. You don't have to eat them all. I don't recommend it. Just maybe have a couple of them and freeze the rest. And then a year or two later, you can thaw one out and it'll be like it just fell off the plant. It's pretty impressive. I actually had a dream the other night that I thawed out some of my habaneros and ate a couple of them, and they had like no heat. It was the weirdest thing. It's like they had just lost all heat. That doesn't happen though. You can have a habanero frozen for a couple of years, and when you thaw it out and eat it, it'll be just as hot as the day that you picked it. I thought about I thought about eating a pepper for this video, since our hero is using the mud pepper to cast levitate to get into the volcano. I thought it would be kind of funny if I cut away to myself eating a pepper during all this. Just like here I am eating a mud pepper, although in my case it would be a habanero most likely, and just kind of gobble that up while I'm playing. But I think I've done enough videos like that for one lifetime. Besides that, a ghost pepper would look more like a mud pepper than a habanero. But hell if I eat another ghost pepper while I'm playing. I did that with the Call of Duty Ghosts, and it was quite a challenge, I have to say. Ghost peppers make habaneros look like bell peppers, you know, much hotter. So at this point, we have to hoof it back through the mammoth graveyard to the area with the stone that we have to lift with our new formula. These guys, very irritating. They poison you, which is pretty much the one time in the early game when you really need to use the cure formula. Or in my case, not use it and just heal yourself through the poison. Alright, this is it. As soon as it lets me, time to lift the rock. I guess this is where I would cut away to eat the pepper if I were going to do that, but no, not this time. I think there's one other time later in the game where you have to use levitate to lift something. So maybe when I do that, I'll eat a pepper. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling that day. I expect that I'll be done with this game fairly soon, in any case. So that day should come fairly quickly. It's not a very long game at all. Could easily have this series polished up in the next week or so if I set my mind to it. So for this part, I'm just kind of practicing a little bit on these Vipers, getting some formula experience. Don't really know why, because I don't think Flash is going to be useful for very long. I'm hoping that since it's a fire-based formula, maybe it'll help level up later fire-based formulas like Nitro. And, you know, maybe if I build up Flash a little bit, those later formulas will start out with a little bit of an edge. You know, Fireball's another one. I don't know, though. I don't know if it's actually counted with that family of spells. That would be a balance patch change as well. The balance patch makes it so that different alchemy formulas actually level each other up. They kind of group them together, much the way they group together the weapons. So using Hardball, for instance, would also level up later formulas that are related to Hardball, whatever the patch developers deemed would have been in the same family. You know, possibly Crush, not sure yet. Guess we'll find out. But yeah, as of right now, I'm just kind of wasting time trying to hit this Viper. I'm not sure why. What am I doing right now? I think I should probably just keep going. There we go. Got him. Okay. So onward, there's a Silver Viper that I have to defeat. It's just like the earlier boss. And the Silver Viper will give me a Mud Pepper that I can use to move more rocks around. This is another very creepy dungeon. I like this dungeon, though. It's not too much of a maze. And I like that you're fighting enemies that were technically like mini bosses a little while ago. I like when games do that. Alright, looks like I need another Mud Pepper. So yeah, this part you can just knock the boulder down, which is nice. I need to just stop messing with these guys and just kind of skip over them if possible. They're a bit of a hassle to fight if you're not actively trying to level up. Then again, the dog is in dire need of some levels, so... Alright, let's hope that that's another Mud Pepper. Yes, alright. Excellent. Because if it wasn't, I wasn't really sure what to do next. What about this guy? Can I get that guy? Just checking the area here. Alright. Okay. Let the percent meter recharge and cast my spell. There we go. Just a minor annoyance. The jury is still out on the balance patch, by the way. Definitely has some positive attributes. Definitely has some annoying aspects. But, yeah. I'll be able to make a more educated judgment on the viability of this patch by the time I get to the end of the game, I think. Yeah, I should really just avoid these guys, but I can't help it. Every time I get into one of these brawls with them, I just really want to finish the fight. You know? If I can just hit this guy a couple more times. I mean, never mind all the damage I'm taking in the meantime. I've got to get this guy. There we go. Whew. But yeah, they really do sap your resources. Excellent. Ooh, okay. Don't mind if I do. Alright, so that's the first area. And I believe this takes us to the maze portion of the dungeon because... Lord knows every dungeon in this game has to have a maze portion. I actually forgot about this part. Alright. I'll probably be checking a guide shortly to help me find everything I need to find in this section. I have a vague recollection of what to do, though. But yeah, definitely one of the most tedious things about Secret of Evermore is just the reliance on mazes, the over-reliance on mazes in the dungeon design. It's like some of the dungeons are pretty imaginative, and then it's like they ran out of ideas, but the dungeons had to be a certain length and they had to eat up a certain amount of the player's time. So they would just fall back on these very bland maze designs. It gets worse later in the game too. The Gothica dungeons, some of the worst mazes ever in that section of the game. I'm really not looking forward to it, which is unfortunate because I like Gothica a lot. I think Antiqua is my favorite part of the game, but Gothica is pretty awesome too. Gothica is as close as this game gets to being like Secret of Mana as well. Okay, so this is the mini-boss in question that has the mud pepper. I'm going to have to take this guy out a couple of times in order to store up some mud peppers for later in the game as well, just to be on the safe side. So I'm going to cut the video here and do that. Alright, so we're back. I farmed several mud peppers from that guy, and that'll come in handy later. But for now, you just need one in order to move this block and continue on to the boss. So, actually no, I think there's another maze. Never mind. Yes, there is. There's another maze. Luckily, I've got a guide right here telling me what to do. So I'll just be referring to that. Obviously, I have 3 shots of levitate here. That's from farming the extra mud peppers. I actually just paused the recording to look at a guide, and yeah, I think I know what to do here, but I will say that if you don't have a guide, the maze sections of the dungeons in this game can be extremely tedious to negotiate. Unfortunately, they really slow down the momentum of the game. And then there's the desert. You know, the more I think about it, the more I'm remembering all the weird, tedious things that this game throws in that drag it down. Having to run back and forth across the desert is another big time waster. Okay, I'm referring to my directions here in a walkthrough, and I'm trying to follow them to the letter. If you have a walkthrough in front of you, these mazes are no problem at all. So the idea here is just to get through this area as quickly as I can. So yeah, you go through the maze once to hit the switch, and oh hey. Oh hi. This guy's friendly, that's nice. Very good. Record my progress. Sure, sure. That's unexpected. Did not think that there was a save point in here. Okay, so I think next we go to the right. Is this the room? Yeah, this is the room. So we go to the right in this room and follow the correct path, and it'll take you directly to the boss. So, is this it? Yeah, this is it. Much quicker path that time. Nice. So this is another challenging boss. All of the boss fights in Prehistoria are a real challenge, though the game does get easier as it goes on. So yeah, here's Fire Eyes and her clone. I think the clone is some sort of robot. It's a very 50s B-movie kind of plot, which I think is the point. Alright, here we go. Time for the big boss fight. Cue the extremely menacing music. So this is Magmar. He's a tough customer. He actually shows up at the end of the game as well. He's one of the final bosses. Obviously a stronger version of him at that point. It's a little bit odd that he shows up at the end, as opposed to all the other bosses that could have shown up at the end. Main thing about this guy is that he has a metric fuck ton of HP. And it doesn't help that the dog is underleveled. Yeah. This is a fight where you want to use your alchemy. You also want to have your alchemy leveled, though, and mine is not. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of my call beads on this fight. This might be the toughest fight that I have for a little while now, especially because I'm about to get an extremely overpowered formula. So I might as well go ahead and use some call beads on him. The overpowered formula in question is Crush. It's probably the best attack formula in the game, and I'm going to get it in about 10 minutes here. Once I get that formula, my alchemy woes are more or less over. There are other formulas later on that I like more though, like Lance. It's not as powerful as Crush, but once I get it, I kind of stop using Crush. Just use Lance instead. Just because I like it more. But yeah, at this point in the game, I don't really have any alchemy leveled up. So I'm at a bit of a disadvantage in this particular fight. This is a guy that you really want to keep your distance from if at all possible. Also, my spear is not at level 3 like it usually is at this point in the game. It's only at level 2, also putting me at a disadvantage. Typically, I get the spear to level 3 for Salabog, just to speed that fight up. However, in this particular patched version of the game, I feel like the weapons are leveling up more slowly than they did originally, because of the new weapon system that's in place. So I did not level up the spear as much as I normally do. So, again, I'm at a marked disadvantage in this fight. Yeah, that was almost a loss. I would not be a bit surprised if I lose this fight, actually, at this juncture. Well, that's all my call beads. Ooh, look at that. The heal actually saved the dog, even though he was at 0 health. And he's down. Jesus. This is not going well. Well, we're going to outlast him, hopefully. As long as I stay on top of healing. What? He just did like a little sidestep. Did you see that? That was weird. He like strafed. Come on, dog. I need you to get in there and attack him. Look at that. He had like a perfectly good chance to attack, and he just stood there. Yeah, petals are becoming a little bit obsolete at this point. Obsolete! Luckily, I have the heal formula to fall back on. Jeez. How many HP does this guy have? I don't remember him lasting this long in the original game. This is ridiculous. I'm just having a flashback to playing this for the first time and thinking about how similar this fight is to the Fire Gigas in Secret of Mana. It's a very similar fight. I actually just had to take a break for a second because the fight is going on for so long that I needed to like actually AFK from the game. And the dog is down again. So yeah. Man. I remember the dog overperforming in the original game, and I feel like in this playthrough the dog is just severely underperforming. And I don't know if it's a balance patch thing or what the deal is, but yeah, the dog went from being super overpowered in the original game to being like not even very useful in this playthrough. I'm not sure what's going on. Also, I just realized I don't know if the dog got any experience for that fight because he was down at the end of the fight. So that would be pretty lame if he didn't get any experience for that fight. I mean, especially considering he's behind in levels already. So blah. Anyway. This creepy engine now explodes, and our heroes go flying up into the air, as I recall. Yes, exactly as I remember it. It's just like cannon travel in Secret of Mana, which is one of the most ridiculous yet fun concepts I've ever seen in a game. And now we're in some sort of very creepy stream. Where is this place? It's kind of like the river Styx. It's taking us to a destination unknown. The river Styx is also where people lose their memories, which is kind of like the dog changing forms now that I think about it. People that fall into the river Styx, they wake up and they can't remember who they were before. Also, the skeletal boatman. Ooh, I think I'm onto something here. The skeletal boatman is reminiscent of Karen. Karen being the boatman of the river Styx, who is also a skeleton. So yeah, I think there's a little bit of river Styx mythology woven into this particular part of Secret of Evermore. Perhaps. Alright, so here we are at one of the best leveling spots in the game, possibly the best leveling spot in the game. These mad monks drop a ton of jewels, which is the new currency for Antiqua. Although, right about now I'm in major danger of getting killed and losing all my progress from the last 20 minutes of gameplay. So yeah, that was close. Alright, this is the guy from the swamp. As you can see, he has Salabog's head on the wall there, which is pretty cool. So yeah, this is another great spot to level grind. I'm going to get the best attack formula in the game from this guy. And I'm going to build up my levels a little bit outside the cave there. Right now I get to play as the dog by himself for a couple minutes though, which is pretty awesome. As you can see, he has a new form now. And I like this form a lot. He's like a desert jackal. And I think this is probably my favorite of the 4 dog forms, if I had to pick one. Definitely, actually. Definitely would go with this one. So yeah, after this little portion of dog gameplay, it's going to switch me back to the boy, and I'm going to level grind outside of Blimp's cave there. Get some money from defeating the mad monks. Build up the crush spell, especially. The OP crush spell. And I'm going to do that before episode 4. So when you rejoin me for episode 4, I'm going to be significantly more powerful because I'm going to have a few levels under my belt and a very powerful alchemy formula as well. So I would record all that, but I don't think you want to watch me run back and forth killing the same enemy over and over again for an hour. I don't think that would be very interesting. This room right here is a really interesting looking room. And I kind of wish that there were a boss fight in that room. It's just, that room looks perfect for a boss fight with, say, the evil Horus. Maybe that wall face that he was talking to. Well, not just now, but he talks to it later. Anyway, whatever. So, point is, I just got the crush formula, ready to do some grinding and prepare for the battles to come. Now, this formula uses wax and limestone. Limestone's a new one, a new ingredient to Antiqua, which means I'm going to need to build up some money before I can even buy ingredients. So, I'm going to be grinding at this particular spot for quite a bit. As you can see, I have 0 jewels because we've entered a new realm with new currency. My talons do not have any value here. Although, I think there's an NPC somewhere around here that I can exchange them with at like a 2-to-1 ratio. Turn in my talons, get some jewels. But in the meantime, I'm just going to beat these guys up until I can get enough jewels to buy some ingredients for crush. And then once I have ingredients for crush, I can just spam that on these guys to very quickly defeat them and level up the crush formula as well as my character. So that's what I'll be doing for a little bit, and I will see you for part 4.